welcome to Business Talks. It's a place where we invite entrepreneurs and where you, as our watchers on YouTube or here in the audience, get to meet them, learn about their lifestyle, and understand what skills you need to grow your startup and operate your company. So our first guest tonight is Valtteri, who has 10 years of experience in running different businesses. His main company now is called Valfi, and it's about e-commerce businesses and how to help them to grow, to manage communications with clients, and also he provides analytics to those companies. So Valtteri, welcome, and can you please tell us more about what you do in Valfi?
Thank you so much for having me here. It's a real pleasure to be the number one guest in this show, so I feel really appreciated to having this opportunity to be talking here. So my position in Valfi is to be like an ambulance for small businesses. We are like an ambulance, so when something goes wrong on their path to grow their business, we come there and help them 24/7. So the name Valfi comes actually from Finnish word valvoa, which is like monitor or being aware of someone else, like a mother is aware of the child and taking care of their child. So we see small entrepreneurs like our babies, and we are taking care of their growth. So mainly at Valfi it means the digital side and the branding side of their growth. So I would see that we love to work with the companies that are really hungry for big ambitions, big goals to grow their business through e-commerce and digitalization. And basically this means all kind of businesses. So we have customers from restaurant chains to yoga, children's clothing, food business, ski centers, sports. So on every possible industry we have customers that are hungry for growth. So we see them as our child, and we help them to grow through digitalization and 24/7 manage communication services.
How long have you been running this company?
So this is actually my third company. I screwed up my two previous companies. Actually, I screwed up quite badly. One of the companies was started in Estonia, and this was an advertising agency. I lived there in Estonia like 3 years, but it didn't kick off well. I wasn't able to build the team there, and I think there was also I was pretty young when I went to Estonia to grow the business. My original ambition was that, okay, there is no corporate tax in Estonia. That's a great place to run the business because you have less taxes, and also like because I heard a lot of cool stories about Estonia, how techy it is and how entrepreneur mindly it is. So I had this kind of illusions about this country, so I went there for living. But then I realized that actually it's not the older things that makes your business to grow. It's actually you have to grow from inside, and you have to be really original.
Yeah,
that's why I came back then to Finland to start this Valfi, and now this is now the 4th year we are now running for Valfi, and it's been a great success.
Yeah, coming to inside part of yours. So how old were you when you were in Estonia? Just
I was like 24 when
right. So you're a 24-year-old Finnish young man.
Yeah.
How come you go to Estonia? What inspired you?
I think like what inspired me was like this e-residentship and a lot of like success stories that were coming from, and then I wasn't satisfied with the stuff I was doing in Finland, so I thought that changing the country would also change my business. But of course, like if you change the country, it's just the alter thing that you think it's changing. So actually, the original I wasn't changing inside. I just went to another country, but of course it won't solve the inner issues on yourself. Like it was inside of me that was causing the issues, not changing the country. It didn't solve these problems.
And that actually leads me to my first question to you.
Yeah.
Ayn Rand, whom I'm sure you're familiar with, said, "The question is not who is going to let me. The question is who is going to stop me." So, I watched your video blogs that you have on your website.
Thank you.
Did it a little bit. I didn't say they were good, so don't thank me. But I watched them.
Okay.
They were good, so you can thank me. My first question is related to passion. 2 companies have failed. The third is succeeding.
Yeah.
That shows you have passion in what you want to do. Where or how do you get the inspiration for that passion?
Well, it all for a third company now it comes from inside. It comes truly from my heart, and I think like the 2 previous companies were purely started just for success and making money, and I had this illusion to be this Wolf of Wall Street guy, like really like successful and making money and flying private jets and like all like these outer things. So it was like an illusion that I was imagining what it's like to be an entrepreneur. But now on my third company, I have really focused just on my clients, taking care of their businesses, and I feel doing good when I offer this stuff for them. So it's not only me, but it is everything else. Not me, but them.
Right. There's
So there comes the inspiration.
self-satisfaction.
Yeah. So
when you're able
I
to-
really love helping these
Yes. Okay, but
businesses.
let's go back to passion. Who inspires you? Who do you look up to?
I think it's myself. It's me. Like who I'm very taking 100% responsibility of myself and my work, and now like that has changed a bit. Like I have my first son was born 7 months ago. Now I really want to see my son growing up and looking that I that he can be proud of his father. So I really want to give a good example. What is it to be an entrepreneur? Help other businesses to grow. So I also want to inspire my son, but also the other entrepreneurs and my customers.
Right. So your first 2 businesses were for money,
Yeah,
and now your current business is for helping other people.
absolutely helping.
So
other
that's where you get
people.
the inspiration by helping
Yeah,
other people,
and-
seeing the results, and as results come in, it gives you more inspiration. Okay.
Absolutely. So
Okay.
it's opening up, helping others, and this is like a huge foundation for inspiration and motivation, helping others from your heart.
So you mentioned leadership and responsibility.
Yeah.
Did you have to develop these skills, or do you think you have them naturally from your childhood, from your parents?
You have to take 100% responsibility of developing these skills. So it is up to you develop these skills. Like I have had similar feelings. I felt also a lot of racism when I started my company here in Oulu like 10 years ago. I was like young and I looked like a little boy, but I still went kicking the doors of big businesses. I still had like that motivation and stamina just to go kicking the doors and not accepting that racism. So even I was local, but I was still feeling racism because of my young age. So I think the same thing is here, that you really need to have those balls to forget everything that you are, and you just show what you can do for them. So just take the full responsibility of creating value, and when you create the value, the world really starts changing. So don't make a big issue of that.
Yeah, but you do you understand that not all people in Finland or on the planet not like that. It's you need to dare to take the responsibility for your life. Sometimes or oftentimes people don't even plan their life ahead. They don't take
Yeah.
2 weeks of their life to plan their future. So it's also a responsibility. So not everybody is like that. Do you know why people don't dare to be responsible or take the leadership of their life? What
I
stops
think
them?
the big issue is that we have so much distractions now in our lives, and I give you an example. If you want to develop some like a new skill, you want to learn how to code. The big issue is that okay, I'm now learning how to code, but I should like be able to sit down in the front of a computer like 3 to 4 hours. But I have the smartphone. There is someone sending me messages. I have to check my social media. I have to take the dog walking. I'm hungry. So I have so much distractions in my own life. So you have to be able to silent up those distractions, and this really helps you to reaching any goal you want to have. So for me, what is really help is the meditation. I do that regularly, and also really like working out a lot, being totally silent, and just mindfulness. So these are really the keys how you can strengthen that point of getting what you want.
Yeah. So the next question would be about your planning of the day, the routine. We all know that there are people, those billionaires, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, and others. We think there are some special people. Do you have something special about your routine, like daily? Do you have certain rituals in the morning?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm very disciplined about certain routines. So I wake up usually at 6. I always run. I call it like Nallikari turn, Nallikari reitti, which is about 11 kilometers. I go running over that lighthouse there. So I start every morning running 11 kilometers. Some days I do it like a bit longer. Now I'm preparing for the marathon. So really like working out is the key routine every morning, because it really gives you the motivation for the whole day. You feel so energized for the day. So it all starts from you. And before I started running my businesses, I had big health issues. I had a lot of weight, and I wasn't very sure about myself, and I wasn't feeling right on my body. So I started working out, and it really helped also the business. So
That's a
it
good
is
point.
thing.
Too often we're helping others, we forget about ourselves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You have to take care of yourself
And
first.
it's the best investment what you can do is to invest in yourself, invest in your health, because I see many entrepreneurs, they are so busy, or they have this illusion being so busy they don't have time to take care of themselves. They are eating all these crappy food and so on, and of course they also start procrastinating their own health, and it causes a lot of suffering in their older days.
But you brought up a few points here that goes to my next question. Benjamin Franklin said, by failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. So now, when you started, did you make a business plan of any sort for this company? Or was it in your mind? Did you have some slide deck? When you started the company, did you know the steps you were going to do?
Absolutely no. I think the why we have succeeded is that we didn't have any plan, we didn't have any investors, we didn't have any money. So I think that's how we have succeeded with Valfi. So we have learned this from our clients. We have listened our clients and being like a part of their team. So we went directly to the marketplace. So many times I see like these entrepreneurs, small businesses, they make a lot of plans, but the reality, what happens in the marketplace, is so different that it's really hard to challenge that. So I would say go directly to the market and face it. You have to bite the bullet of the market because it's a really different environment. And I think because we went directly to the market doing the hard work without any money, we had to earn the value and learn from that.
So you had a plan, but it was in your head.
No, there was no any plan. The plan was on this company Valfi just to help the companies, and of course we had to be aware of what kind of customers we work with. We always been like monitoring like what is the correct type of customer for us. So we don't accept all the clients who want to work with us.
Right.
So what are the top 3 principles you use in your business?
So it all starts with the people. So we don't want to work with jerks. So we somehow we have to resonate with the businesses we work with, and also the same applies with our stuff. We want to make a big impact on those businesses, and not only on that businesses but the world around the business. So it all starts with the right people and the good stuff, like I mean the good with the big G. So we want to help and work with businesses that really makes a positive difference in this world. So it's about the people. So that's the number one thing. The second thing is also that it has to be profitable. So also like if of course it would be wonderful to work with businesses that doing all kind of good stuff, but also if you wanna make something big, you also need money, and the cash flow is also super important. That's why we are not very often found working with companies that just operates through some social funding or just like non-profit companies. So I think you can make money and do good at the same time. So be ready for that. And also like when you start the business, you should focus. You can do planning, but you should focus from the first day producing cash flow, because if you start making value, you also start earning positive cash flow for your company, and it should start from the day one. So you don't procrastinate making money. So when you create value, you make money, the business is gonna be flourishing. So that's the second thing. And the third is also the third principle is the cost management. So be aware in the cost. Like many entrepreneurs, they start raising the costs before they earn any cash flow. So I have always done a lot of outsourcing. I think you can make similar networks with suppliers, with contractors, what you can make with your own employees. You don't definitely need your own employees to make a big business happen. So I have used a lot of outsourcing. We have like suppliers, contractors from around the world, multiple countries, and they are like part of our team, like employees, but still they have their own business. They work with us, so it is flexibility, saving costs, but still we are like one single company.
At times when I'm listening to you, you kind of sound like Jordan Peterson. I'm not sure if you're aware of him, but Jordan Peterson said you should be afraid of taking risks and pursuing something meaningful, but you should be more afraid of staying where you are if it's making you miserable. So your business is always a risk. How did you minimize the risks as you started up?
Well, I think like when you do something that you really love and you feel you are doing the right thing, the risk, I don't think about the risk at all. Like if you really love doing something, you do whatever it takes. Like the risk and the fear of failure starts to diminish. So there is always has to be some risks. Like the risk is a great, like when you are feeling a bit afraid, it's a good signal that you are going the right direction, because it is giving you this kick that keeps you going on. So there's always something, like if you're not feeling any risk, then you are not doing enough. So when you feel the risk, then you are going the right direction.
I think I have to try to rephrase it. Yes. You have to take the risks. Otherwise, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
How do you get people to take risks who are not risk takers? I guess that was more my question.
Yeah.
'Cause there's
So
too
do
many.
you mean like employees or clients or
No,
you
this-
as an entrepreneur?
Entrepreneurs.
So as an entrepreneur, like
It is a risk that keeps them back.
yeah, I think like it is this sense of survival that we need to raise up, because now, especially, it's really hard to be a risk taker in Finland or some Nordic countries, because we have this feeling that the government and our social care is taking care of us. So we rarely have this feeling of taking risks. But when you go into business and you want to make something really great, you really have to take some risks. And I feel like one of the biggest mistakes I made on my previous years that I haven't been taking enough risks. So one way that really could help some of the entrepreneurs that take risks is to think the day you are gonna die. So when you're gonna die, are you really, like, you think you are like 89 years old, you have lost your power, like the death is coming, it's very near, like do you want to feel that, okay, I lived a really purposeful life, I was really flourishing throughout my life, do I want to live that kind of life, or do I want to live the life that I have some that I feel like I didn't live at all. So I want to live like a life with 100%, and thinking about the death really helps diminishing those risks. So I think about dying a lot, and it really gives me the power to take the risks, because I want to live the life as fully, and if something goes wrong, it's not like that big deal if you think about dying. So I think the thinking about dying, like this really helps.
That was actually quite good.
It's very deep discussion, and again I can come back to role models or books, but the question would be, are all your friends like you? They think the same and they're like-minded people, or you kind of stand out?
I think like a lot of, I heard that I'm kind of like a really freaky guy, and it's like talk about this death and waking up 6 a.m. going to run, like it sounds very crazy for most of them, and I have actually very little friends, so I feel like my customers, I want to be like friends with them, and with I want to be a friend with anyone, but like it's like you have to be original and you have to be truthful to yourself, and you won't need to be who you are, and I have always followed that rule that just to be original and just be yourself, and if it's freaky, then it's freaky, but it's the way to go. And I really want to also tell to my kids and my customers that nowadays it's really important to be original. You have to be yourself, and you have to find that inner freak, and like you have to become more like a schizophrenic person. Like you have to forget all the delusions and illusions what you have, and just be natural and just keep playing.
You mentioned earlier, actually I agree with that, because studies have shown that people who have ADHD make good entrepreneurs.
Yeah, they are absolutely, because they don't have this system
you-
that is stopping
Yeah.
them like pursuing
And
those
you have to
things.
be
So
authentic.
yeah.
You have to be authentic.
Yeah, you have to be authentic.
You
absolutely.
mentioned earlier about non-profits are not really your area of business. You
Yeah.
don't want to go there. Do you believe business has any obligation to make the community or the world a better place?
Yeah, absolutely. But oftentimes, like you see, people are complaining that the businesses are destroying the world, and we have big environmental issues because of the businesses, and corporations are bad, and capitalism is wrong.
Let's not
But
go.
all the businesses are made out of people, so the people really make this. People really make the business.
Let's not go that area. Let's say your company and other companies, local companies. Do you have an obligation to give back to Oulu what they've given you, the opportunity to be a success?
Well, I don't think that Oulu has given very little. Like they have pretty high taxes here, and Oulu, they have the business Oulu. They are supporting a little bit of entrepreneurs, but I don't think that. I think entrepreneurs has the obligation to give back the whole world, but not just the one single location. Like I don't think like any city, like we are already paying taxes here.
Yeah.
So I think that's enough, and we are not getting the same value back what we pay. So but of course the obligation is to give back to the universe, give back to all the people of the world, not only people but also the environment, the animals, what we breathe, the air. So I wouldn't create here again duality between Oulu or the whole world or the environment or the whole universe. So it should be all the same. So we all should aim for good with the big G, not a single place.
But let's say giving back to Oulu would mean, let's say we get a group of our international people, entrepreneurs, and you come give a 2-hour lecture for free on entrepreneurship. That's giving back,
Yeah.
and that's local.
Yeah, but there's also I'm promoting my own business, so I think it's a win-win situation. But in that term, yes.
Right.
Yeah. So always there is like two sides. So I think like doing right stuff is giving back, and like being here, it is. I hope it helps maybe the local community. I always love to help, but also it helps my business as well.
We watched your blog with Henry, and it's in English.
Yeah.
It's rarely in Finnish.
It's
almost
really
none.
rarely.
So why did you choose English? Is it exactly for the same reason, to give back to the whole world, not just Finland?
Absolutely, but I think like we should think more bigger here in Oulu, because now like we have a lot of great YouTubers in Finland. We have a lot of really great bloggers, influencers, but I feel it a bit miserable that they are all in Finnish. So even though I'm not perfect speaking English, I was really bad at school, and I got really bad grades in English and so on. But still, like I want to give a try. I want to jump the ocean and give my best. So also I think like when you start speaking English, the language really changes your mindset and your thinking. And when you speak Finnish, your mindset is kind of like I would say like you are driving like maybe some Volkswagen or Lada or some Moskvich or some really old car, and when you are speaking English, you are driving like a Lamborghini or a Ferrari or some like flying a jet or something like this. So when you start speaking English, it really starts changing you as a person, and I think it really gives me also a lot of motivation, and like it gives me power. Just it reflects to all areas of life. Just speak English and make it public. So it is actually very selfish idea to speak English, but if it helps someone else, it's of course good. But I think we should get more into speaking English because it not only helps yourself but also the bigger audience.
So yeah, you mentioned a little bit your childhood and grades and school. There is a myth that entrepreneurs are bad students. So some give up on college, they don't go, they don't continue education, they stop going to the university. Is it true for you also? Did you give up school or university?
Yeah, I dropped out from the school and then I started running the businesses. But after the last failure in Estonia, I came back to Finland. I finished my master's studies here in Oulu. Now I'm in the PhD program, and I found that later on that I wanted to bring more entrepreneurship in the research, and it was surprising that in University of Oulu they were very encouraging just to make it part of your business. So it was also very helpful for my business because I wrote the thesis, did a lot of projects all for my business. So I think, and it was all of course free because the education is free. So I get a lot of free stuff also for my company.
Yeah, that's understandable. What's your idea about education? Is it important in one's life, or you don't have to do that? How do you relate yourself to education?
Do you mean
Constant
lower level education, like elementary school or like university education?
College, and in general, lifelong learning and things like that?
I really value the education a lot, but again, I don't like the duality. Like you need to earn some certain degree to become competent in this world and this business environment. It is absolutely not just degrees or validations or what you have. It's more about the value. So you always should be learning, but be learning through doing, taking risks, making failures. So that kind of education is what I really value.
Yeah. So what would you recommend to those who listen to us? To take a degree in business or learn by yourself?
Just go ahead and put the pedal to metal and start your business and become the leader. Actually, in Finland they have this kind of that you can earn the PhD if you really employ a lot of people. It's like this honor PhD. So if you want to get easy PhD, make a huge business and employ people, make a lot of money, and then they give you this honor PhD. So that's better. That's like a better way to get PhD than reading there 10 years.
Do you have any entrepreneurs who inspire you in Finland and also worldwide?
I really like this Peter Westerbacka, who has a really huge visions. For example, this tunnel between Tallinn and Helsinki, and also the Angry Birds and so on. So I think he's very pushing this country forward. So he is thinking big, and we really need to forget that smallness of thinking and just keep thinking big, and then those talks may become a reality. So I've been always very inspired about Peter.
You mentioned you have a 7-month-old son or daughter.
Yeah, son.
Being an entrepreneur, does it affect your home life, your family life at all?
Of course, but
Or
I
is it
think
a matter
in a positive ways. I have truly changed as an entrepreneur after our son was born. What I really get from the son is, of course, the inspiration, like how the child is learning, how the child is doing the research, like seeing surroundings. It's very inspiring to see how this adventure is going on. So we all should keep that curiosity through our life, like the child is checking out things, putting stuff into their mouths and climbing the walls and playing with the food. So we all should live our life like
who
that.
Who climbs
ways.
the walls, you or the child?
We both. Like I started actually a new hobby, but it's really gives you the inspiration to do that. And I think it's easier to have a good family life when you are an entrepreneur, because you have the freedom to spend more time with your family. So if you want to start a family, start a business and then start a family, because you have more freedom. You can fix your schedules, and you can just be more with the family, and actually you can make the family part of your business as well. And I wouldn't see a difference between the family and the business. Like my son is already helping me with the business, and he's becoming a shareholder of the companies soon. So I think like you really make the family as part of your business.
You mentioned a few activities. One was planning. You're running, waking up at 6.
Yeah.
Running and getting your day off on a positive level. What other key activities would you recommend to people who would like to be entrepreneurs or who are struggling entrepreneurs that they should do?
So the activities really you need is to cut all the crap from your life. You need to cut all the bad people from your life. If you have some friends that are taking your time, negative, driving down your energy, start cutting those negative people from your life, even though it could be painful. Maybe you need to cut your relationship with your wife or girlfriend or boyfriend. So cut all that. The second thing is, actually that's really more important, is to cut your own ego. You have to cut your own ego and egoistic thinking. I failed my 2 previous businesses because I was too egoistic. I was thinking just only money, to be that successful guy like James Bond everywhere, and it didn't work out. So I had to kill the inner ego and become truthful with myself. So cut that ego, and then cut all the bad people, and then you could start cutting your crappy food that you're eating, your bad activities like spending too much on time watching television, doing stuff like hanging around, going to bars, doing weekends, spending like time to nonsense things. So start taking full responsibility of your time and how you spend your time.
What's your dream? What is your dream?
I don't think my dreams too much. I firstly do action, and then the action becomes the dream. So I think we shouldn't dream too much. We should follow our actions, not our dreams, because the dream is just a dream, but action is the reality. There is again a duality between
yes,
the dream and the action.
But the action is what moves you towards your dream.
I would say like you can have a vision. Vision could be a better.
Okay, if you
better,
vision,
vision could be a better term for the dream. So you could visualize where, for example, you want to be in the next 10 years, or the 5 years, but make it like a lifelong path. Like where do you want to see yourself? Where do you want to visualize yourself the next 10 years? So make it long enough and start making small steps towards that vision. So I do a lot of visualization, big visualization and small visualization. Now I'm visualizing my first marathon, which is in 3 weeks. Also I'm visualizing a lot of my customer projects that are deadline next week. So I visualize how does it feel like when you are finishing the project. And also the same thing is I have also the pilot's license. I do flying a lot with the small airplanes. I have to visualize the next landing, what's gonna be the next airport I've never landed. I have to visualize how do I feel when I'm soon about to land? I have to visualize. So I do a lot of visualization, but it's not the dream, it's the visualization, and that becomes the action.
Yeah, I think we're getting into semantics a little bit, but a goal, visualization, dreams, same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Goals.
habits are big enough. So the big problem in entrepreneurs when they start, they dream or visualize too small. Like they think like, okay, I have just dream just breaking even. I make something small changes, but put like 10x for that and make it big. Like it gives you a better chance to make it.
Okay, I think if I make my final comments
Sure, yeah.
on this, which I prepared before you came,
Great.
but it was interesting because a lot of things that you said, there's a Jordan Peterson behind your philosophy. There is, no question. But if I say in short, kind of a recap, make your own future. Create and become part of something that's bigger than you. No one will give it to you. You have to work towards it. There are risks involved, and sometimes they're big. You have to take them. And so, as Nike says, just do it.
Absolutely, just do it. And just be stupid and be playing. It's just have fun. So
Yeah.
it's all about that, playing and having fun, doing stuff you really love.
Yes, thank you very much. I hope our listeners liked it a lot. Thank you, Valtteri, for
Thank
coming
you so
here.
much for having me.
See you next Business Talks. Bye bye.